Hi, Tom. Hi, Ariana. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Yay! Thanks for having us. We're
Yeah, we're
excited.
pumped.
I am so excited too. You're one of two couples that we have presenting, and I love the dynamic of having couples just presenting together. It's very aligned with my familypreneurship concept. And I love everything that you guys do. So, you are going to be speaking at the Become Influential Virtual Summit, which is happening June 8th through 12th. And you are talking on Tuesday, which is our day for business tools and strategies, business building, which you guys are pros at, lifestyle builders, showing up appropriately branded to the video. And I'd love if you guys would walk us through. I love your story. So basically, Tom, how you got started as an entrepreneur and dragged Ariana in with you.
Yeah, 100%. So the long story short is we met the first day of college. As we got ready to graduate, I looked ahead and basically realized that we were in a ton of debt. Neither of us had jobs, and I looked at my profession, which was software development, and I was like, man, I do not want to sit in a cubicle the next 45 years. And so I made a decision to retire by 35. When I told Ariana about that, she's like, one, you're crazy. Two,
Yep.
nobody does that. And so then the next couple of years, we're trying to figure out how to actually make that happen because I really had no idea. I just said, well, if I set the goal, I'll figure it out. And so we had a lot of challenges trying to get aligned along that way. But we ultimately started our first business. And when I say we, I mean me, in the last recession. So when real estate was dropping, I actually said, hey, it's a good opportunity to jump into real estate investing. So we started that business. A couple of years in, I then said, well, there's going to be another recession at some point. What can we do to basically recession proof? And so I said, hey, wine and liquor, people are always buying it. So we started a wine and liquor store, which is now booming, and that bet played off really well.
We also started our family that same year.
Yes, we started our family. So the running joke is basically every time we have a kid, I start another business. So Ariana said,
We're done now.
No more kids, so no more businesses. So we'll see how that goes. But then, we both had jobs, and eventually Ariana left her job and we had our first child. I then left my job a couple of years later. And basically we then, at least me personally, I kind of fell into a little bit of depression because it was like, hey, now that we left our jobs, like what's our purpose? And so what we realized was that we were really good at building businesses that didn't require us, but most small businesses weren't. So we realized that we could help a lot of people with systems, with building a team and doing all the stuff that allows your business to run without you.
Which is so important, especially when you're a parent. And the whole point of leaving the 9 to 5 grind is to be more present with your family. I mean, the point's also to make money, but you want to be present with your family. And you see memes, and they're funny because they're true, that you won't work 40 hours at your 9 to 5 because you'd rather work 80 hours and figure it out yourself. And I think that it's easy to fall into that trap where you leave to become a work at home parent, but then you find yourself investing even more time in the business. So those systems are essential for parent entrepreneurs, especially.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, especially now, as like COVID came up and everyone's forced to work at home, it's more important than ever. And I mean, even with us, we've had to learn how to even improve and adjust some of our systems with the kids being home all the time. So, parent entrepreneurs out there, like, we get it. It's challenging. And we're looking forward to helping you guys just with some tips and tricks.
Yeah, being a parent entrepreneur with kids in school is very different than being a parent entrepreneur with homeschooling.
Very different.
And I know calling it homeschooling, I've seen it's called crisis schooling, which I think might be more accurate.
I like that version better because I'm definitely not homeschooling.
Right. And that's the thing, like, homeschooling is very different. It's typically planned and calculated in some way, shape, or form, where this is like, here, figure this out, and it's crazy. So I sympathize. I feel like we got lucky there because we weren't in the public school system this year, but I can sympathize for everybody else who's scrambling. All right. So Ariana, once you came on the business, how has that transition been like for you?
It has been a very long transition. So obviously you heard our story, and Tom talked about getting into the real estate, and it was basically each business that he started, I kind of got dragged a little further in and a little further in. And it took me many, many years. I mean, we're 12 years into this now before I finally willingly, like, both feet in, I'm like, okay, now I'm an entrepreneur. And I think that's one of the hardest things for so many people is that, one spouse gets that bug and gets that inspiration to start a business, and it doesn't necessarily happen overnight for the other spouse. There's a lot of fear, there's a lot of risk aversion involved. So I think for me, it took getting into the online space to kind of have a like, oh crap moment. How do I do this? Because the brick and mortar businesses were very much like, this is how you run these things. This is pretty much how it's done. We put the systems in place and they ran themselves and we kind of oversaw everything. The online business was completely different. So that was the biggest transformation and transition for me as I joined him in this sort of world.
And it is a totally different world. So tell me a little bit about the presentation that you're going to be giving at the summit on Tuesday, June 9th.
Yes. So we're going back to our roots, and we are going back to systems. Everything that we've done in our entire lives pretty much has been systems, even if they didn't seem apparent or they didn't glaringly shout out to you like, oh, that's a system. That's just kind of how we run things now. And what we've seen and what we've learned over the years is that so many people get so bogged down with all the noise and all the things they think they should be doing and all the software and all the cool stuff out there that everyone says you should have. But what it all boils down to is just really having some simple systems in place so that parts of your business run like a machine, a well-oiled machine, and you get to do the things that you enjoy or that you are a genius at instead of all the other hats that you typically wear as an entrepreneur. So in our presentation, it's called the 6 Simple Systems to Save You Time and Make You More Money in Your Business and Life. And what we're going to focus on is just how you can implement one simple system in 6 different areas. 5 of the areas will be business related, and one of those areas will, of course, be life related because lifestyle builders. And we really just want to help people take one system at a time and implement that so that they can see the results of just one system, how that can change your life and business, and then encourage them to kind of take each of the other systems and start implementing those and figure out how you can find systems yourself to implement in your business. Because once you get started, it's really hard to stop.
Which is a good thing, because it's not just the fact that those like systems automate processes of the business, but it also takes a lot of the like guesswork out when you're in the thick of it. So like when you get a new client, you don't have to like rack your brain as to what things need to be done when, because you have
Exactly.
a checklist that you can go down and boom, 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 get it done. So it saves time, and I feel like in more than one way. And then when you're ready to outsource, you've got the system already in place and you can save even more time. So it just compounds and grows.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, I had somebody tell me the other day, I feel like this sounds like I'm being braggy, but that I'm very organized. You know, she's been a guest on my podcast and now she's a speaker in the summit. And she's like, you're just so organized with everything. And I'm like, really? I feel like I'm like going crazy. Like I'm so frazzled with all these things to do. And I know that the reason she thinks that way is because I have systems set up in the background that automate things, and I don't have to be sending emails to all of my podcast guests weekly because it's automated. So I know that it's those systems that allow me to be perceived as being more organized than I really am. So it's a really great thing as a parent and entrepreneur.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. And like Ariana said, it's one system at a time that really makes a big difference. So,
Yeah.
The number one excuse that a lot of people have is, well, I'm so busy, I don't have time for systems. But the reality is, if you're so busy, that's the time you need systems. So what we always look at is every week, the question is like, what's one system that we can either create or improve on that is going to reduce the biggest challenge that we face that week and give us more time back. And if you just do one system a week, those stack over time and you'll really start freeing up a lot of time and a lot of complexity.
I love that that's actionable and easy to implement. So it's not overwhelming when you think of it that way.
Yep, exactly.
Awesome. Well, I definitely think that there are so many reasons why parents and we're parent entrepreneurs need to attend your session. So thank you so much for providing so much information and so much insight into why these systems are so important. And I cannot wait to see what the system is that you are going to teach, what those 6 systems are, and start to figure out how to implement them in my life and my business, because I know how helpful it's going to be. And if you don't already have your ticket, make sure you head over to becomeinfluential.com. You can grab your free ticket. These presentations will be available for free for 24 hours. And Tom and Ariana's session, like I said, will go live on Tuesday, June 9th. And you'll have access to that for 24 hours unless you decide to grab the all access pass, which will give you year-long access, which I think would be especially great for your session in particular, so that you can return to it as you need to build out more systems throughout the year. Thank you so much for taking time to do this interview and also for pouring so much value into the summit.
Yes, thank you so much for having us on. We're excited to share all the systems with everybody coming to this summit.
All the systems. Well, I, for one, cannot wait. Thank you.